Pretty wild and crazy day with Jackson Hole. It did not fail to deliver a catalyst. The catalyst was pretty much straight up. We revisited all-time highs. The S&P, equal weight S&P actually broke all-time highs, which I wanted to talk about today. Russell is absolutely outperforming in a big way all of the others. Russell's up 8.7% for the month of August, and this potentially is the market's broadening out in a positive way, where this is everything gets a little bit of love instead of all the concentration in Mag 7, tech, AI that's been so heavily concentrated these last couple of months as we drifted towards all-time highs in the recovery. So we are sitting at 64.70. I've got some levels to watch for the rest of the day. It's going to be another interesting close. I might end up taking some intraday losses for my personal account if my 40 and 45 levels aren't tested. We need to see price drop another 25 points. It's unlikely going to do that. So I'm taking on some heat for my early trades this morning. I did the math. It blew through the expectations on the VIX today, which I was a little surprised at. I mean, the VIX gets crushed to the downside and volatility explodes to the upside. That's kind of an outlier type day. When I go into my levels here, I do have an ATR measurement. It is gone away, but here, this is a 100. I can show you on this software. So we roughly had it was like 64.90 would have been roughly my 200% ATR. So if we go, this is where the day was set, and this is where we have our 50. We opened up right at it. We went up to the 100. The news comes out at 10 o'clock with Powell and just proceeds even higher. For me, the 200% from this level, this being the 100, go up to about the 200, or very close to hitting it today. It depends on the calculation, but nevertheless, it was a blowout type day to the upside. However, I do want to note, and the day isn't done. We still have another 54 minutes. But looking left on the chart, all today really was a rip up to retest highs again. Next week, I've got a call condor for my waterfall income class that, as long as price remains below 53.35, we've got a pretty good looking profit there. That should also help with the weekend, just having this thing decay. If we end up stalling on Monday, it gets even better. We'll see some profit traps coming in. Major catalyst next week is going to be NVIDIA with earnings. Hopefully, that's not going to be thrusting the market up too high. I'd like to see if price can stay below. On my SPX levels, I'd like to see price stay below this 65.35 level by next week. So, couple things. I mean, the push right back up to the highs, but not quite breaching the highs, does make things a little bit more interesting, because it didn't really, thrust us to new all-time highs. So if the market's going to be straight up here, and kind of inefficiently, is that another catalyst to get the market to break and go higher? Or is this, nice try? It's still August. The market's still looking for some type of shakeout. We still have resistance. We still have support, and we'll see what we get. Going back to the last couple of weeks, one thing that rarely happens, and I said this morning, you don't see a lot of prices that break the lows of the week and then also break the highs of the week. What did we do? Well, we just tested. But from where we started trading, this is where the week started. We did get positive on the week. So we went from being red all week long to now back into positive territory. So the market can rest knowing like, hey, look, we did our job. We finished positive on the week. However, I'm watching to see how today closes. I might be able to mitigate some of the risk. It's probably not going to be a net profitable day as far as my intraday daily profit play. But as far as the overall portfolio, I did breach new all-time highs again today. I was up to 440. That's my new high for the year. And I was at like 427 before that. So, I'm up 57K on the day. All accounts looking pretty good. Even with some of the intraday trading, it's like I've got other positions doing well. I just did I'm trying to think how long that video was that I posted. About a 25-minute video for my Project Options Edge service. And let me get that over here. Project Options Edge. Right here. I just did a 25-minute video. I posted it in the chat for members. So full position review. I went through all of our positions. I think I only saw one position in red out of probably 15 or 20 positions. So we have a lot of green that we're dealing with, which is good. We have a lot of gains we're dealing with and managing, which is good. I said here in some of the updates, This is Project Options Edge. There's a lot of the trades we have running right now that are up about 50, 60, 7%. We've got a couple that are up 80 to 90. I tried to close them out during the video. I'm going to let it sit over the weekend. If I can get over 90%, if I get over 90% gains in those positions, I'm going to take those profits hopefully in the next week or two without having to wait all the way to expiration, which some of those are November, September. I've got some expirations in September, November, December, and January. Okay, so hopefully if you're in my Project Options Edge, make sure you check out that position video. Everything is looking pretty darn good, but I get it. Like if you want to take some profit, there's a few $1,000s up for grabs. If you want to take the profit, you're not going to hurt my feelings, like I say here. Okay, posted some trades in daily profit play. I'm watching to see where prices will close for the day. If we can stay below 64.70, this trade is worth $303. So right here, if somehow we can make a miraculous fall back down and give back some of the gains, this trade is worth another $320. Actually, it's a 325. So this is 325, and this is 330. But I need price to get back down below these two levels. So if we see price, closing below 64.70. I am offsetting some of my risk. If we somehow see price falling towards the end of the day, it would be a huge bonus. It's going to get there. It's going to have to try really darn hard. I would love to see the market just suck these last 50 minutes and go down. So we'll see. Just saying, it might not do anything. We might go back to all-time highs again. So I'm sitting here like cheering this thing on to go to the downside after such a crazy move. But what do I know? Meanwhile, the good thing is I fought it for an intraday trade. This is why trade size is so important. I'm down over $800 right now, and I'm still up on my portfolio. So there's other trades that are running, which is fine. I obviously don't take losses. I freaking hate losses, right? But how did I take a loss? The market had to do something really silly, and it did. Literally, we calculated out the VIX at 16 and change. We had a plus minus on the day for like 55 points, and we're still way the fudge above that. Even a plus minus 55 from the previous day's close, that's right here. The market ran up 107 points. You go to where the day opened, it's still up from there, 94 points. Is this market at all going to come back and see some type of like 50-point balance? Maybe. If it is, then we got to drop, man. We got to drop fast. So let's see what happens. Maybe this thing can roll off another 30 points or so. For recent highs, if we get like a 30-point correction, that would be clutch. Because in all honesty, if I can close out this for a break even or better, I will hope for the best. But it'd be nice to see some traction to this recent downside. And I've got a chart I'm set here at 45. My break even's around 48. You get to 48, this should be break even on the trade. And I'll look at that here. So I've got the bear call combo. I'm down. I've got the bear call here that's up. I've got the iron fly that's risking 45. That's pretty much dead unless we go up to 65. My waterfall trades, we'll come back and revisit those next week. This one potentially offers a profit trap. My bull spread's up about $60 right now, but I have potentially $5 in that profit trap. So as long as if we turn lower, that's fine. I'm going to make it $1.60, but I don't know. I kind of want to see the market just turn a little bit lower. It was a nice one-off move for Jackson Hole, but hopefully not enough to like sustain and close above these highs. And we'll see what happens through the next 48 minutes. Talking about some equal weight, like I mentioned in the thumbnail, for the first time in months, okay, equal weight, which had a high back here in November of 2024, has had a huge correction just like everything else did. Equal weight was down about 20%. So was the S&P. We finally clawed back to break some highs today. If we go to the heat map, I'm curious what it looks like, but I'm assuming that a lot of things are green today. 83% of stocks advancing today. What's not? I don't know, very few stocks. But what isn't doing well? Workday is down. They had earnings. Intuit is down. Everything else is literally green and shining and shimmery. Tesla's up, almost 6%. Walmart's down a little bit, but not much. Consumer defenses, okay, down. Is this like risk on? I don't know. I feel like it's more of a rotation to see equal weight. And also, like I mentioned, the Russell is another killer day on the Russell. This thing's up almost 4% on the day. For the month, it's up like 8.7% on the month. So take a look at the comparisons here. Here's a monthly candle. Let's just go SPY, Qs, DIA, and Russell. We're still just steadily higher on the SPY. For the month of August, we're up around 3% on the S&P. The Q is a little bit more indecisive, but still positive by about 2.5%. The Dow is looking better. What I do here, waterfall income. We did that trade. That's already in our position for waterfall. The Dow outperforming. We're at 4.35% in the Dow. And then you look at the little engine that could, the Russell, up over 8%. So just a nice bullish run, 8.67. All-time highs are not that far away. I mentioned this almost a month ago. Once we got above this level, I realized there's a lot of catch-up trade opportunities. When we were on the right-hand side of this trend line on the Russell, I thought that the Russell, if we're going to have a broader market rally, small caps and catching up into small caps, which have been underperforming large caps for a while, if small caps catch up, this was the only index that I could find in the US that offered double-digit returns to the upside. It was like 13, 14% to get to these highs. Well, now we've chipped away at a lot of that. So to get to the all-time highs now, the Russell's only about 4% higher, right? If it goes 4% higher, we're hitting all-time highs. Now, I also wonder what happens when we hit all-time highs, right? What happens? Do we get to all-time highs here and do we break and go higher, right? Is this a big bottoming formation? Is this a 1, 2, and a wave 3 that's about to get underway? That's not an exaggeration. Like, I think we could see the Russell have a pretty good streak of outperformance. And if that is the case, this being wave 1, this is all one giant flat pattern. If we go up here to a symmetry move, I'm going to call this trade. I've got the IWM breakout symmetry. I'm going to measure this based on a swing. So let's go here from low to high. Okay, can we get up into the 127? That's around 272 IWM. Do we finish this move at 321? Let me box this in and get some measurements here as well. So take the low. I'm not gonna box in this like pokey high. I'm gonna box in just those couple of highs before that. So I'll be a little bit more conservative on my symmetry. But that move to these lows, I would say somewhere in here. Okay, somewhere in here, between around 302 and 325, this to me is a nice profit window on the Russell. So I'm going to paint this green. Okay, I think that would be a good spot for any type of near-term profit measurement. Again, we obviously have to break the highs. But if we start breaking and going higher and just outperforming on the Russell, this thing could scream higher with a really nice structural pattern. This low, this high, a flat pattern that finds major support around the 160 handle, and then we have room to go higher. So equal weight going higher. I still own shares of RSP. It did not do terrible. I bought it down here around 170, and it's up to 189, so it's not up a ton. Compared to like the SPY that was down at 480, that's up to 6 and change. There's a slightly better increase in profit there versus a 170. But granted, the thing was all the way down to freaking 150. So, that's on me for not buying this thing lower. It bounced right off that 5-period yearly moving average. I should have just bought. I really should have bought some more shares. It's a cheaper ETF. This would have been a great trade at like the 150, 160 handle. That'd be up about 20+%. But it's okay. I'm still at highs. That's fine. And then EWJ. This is my play on the Japanese yen. We're still creeping up to some higher highs on EWJ. I dollar cost average into this one on the Nikkei. This excludes the bottom 15% of the Nikkei. So that has helped at least, get this thing to higher highs. You look at the Nikkei 225. Interestingly enough, the Nikkei is not at all-time highs. The EWJ is kind of outperforming. This rally has gone up around 34%. You look at the Nikkei from the lows to the recent highs. That rally is up around 43%. So Nikkei is still making a rip. EWJ is climbing. I've got a breakout measurement around 82. We'll see what it does. DXJ, same thing. Germany sitting right near the highs. Is this an ascending wedge? Are we about to have another break on Europe, or is this going to be more consolidation? Right? Is this consolidation? Do we blow the highs off and keep going? Or does this roll over for any type of pullback? I don't know. I would almost think that the the logical play is after this type of run, stocks just don't pull back the same way as currencies. So if we're going to see an ascending wedge, I see that type of move to the upside, and looks like DAX can continue to make some higher highs. FTSE is screaming higher. Again, minor pullbacks. We had this reflexive rally all the way back to the highs. We paused briefly. Once we cleared it, let me look at your technicals, right? So we go from low to high. We pull back briefly, break above it, a little pause right there, and then off we go, a little pause, and off we go. It's still going. Any dips, I could see dips doing pretty well, right? Any dips probably getting bought. I think there's a lot of dynamic support on the UK FTSE. But if it just keeps going higher, then hopefully you're in here riding this thing from some dips, back in April and May. Okay. Appreciate that, Sean. Thank you. Ag says, market's crazy. Do you think we need to add to our hedges? No. Honestly, at this point, I feel like I'm hedged out to December, and those hedges pay like 40 to 1. I don't need to add to this. All I'm going to do is potentially waste more money. My hedges are super highly levered, risking about $500 to make 50 grand. They're there if I need them. Otherwise, I'm just going to try to navigate, pullbacks and some pauses. But, I don't think the market's going to turn and just all of a sudden fail. If anything, I don't think traders, I talked about this yesterday in my session, I don't think traders appreciate the fact that your normal distribution, that it's the right tail, that we could see more traders struggling to grasp, struggling to embrace, struggling to capture, right? Everyone's worried about the left tail. So am I. I thought that, after April, it's like, holy crap, we can have some nasty, like 10, 15, 20% snapbacks. Maybe this is the end of the good old days. But after we pivoted hard in April, I think that if everyone is still thinking recession, if everyone's still thinking the economy is slowing, if everyone's still thinking that everything's going to suck and be bad moving forward, this market will melt up, and the pain trade is bullish, So I think, if anything, this is why I spent so much time this week with my waterfall income service. One of my favorite strategies to just show up and trade every single Monday it's my strategy too. It's like a 10 to 15% buffer to just take a trade, offer up. It's a pretty low delta trade, so it doesn't like tie up a ton of risk. But for typically about less than 1% of my account, that's my max risk. I can typically knock out like a 0.1% gain, 0.15% gain, 0.2% gain. And I can do this every single week with like a huge margin for error. So anyway, long story short is we had a great 3-day workshop this week. We broke down the strategy start to finish. And this continues to be something that works really, really well for us. We have positions running right now that are in profit. So going to, my SPY trade here, waterfall is showing some profit. And my put condor, this one also, we took this trade, 4 days ago? So we took this trade on Monday. It's showing some profit already. You go to the SPX trade, we put on a trade here. This one's already up 33%. So, we have some quick winners. This is the trade that I'm watching for next week. It shows that I'm down $50. Okay. But what price needs to do is for this trade to threaten me to take on any risk in this trade. Price has to be back up to all-time highs by next Friday at 65.35. I'm going to check the options chain right now. Okay. By the 29th, end of the month, I'm pretty sure we can get to 65.35. In fact, we're sitting right up here around a 25% delta. So there is a chance that if we stay on this type of trajectory, we could still push into these highs. We do have NVIDIA earnings next week. So that timing could kind of suck, in all honesty. But I'm hoping that just based on the typical standard deviation, the options market makers will defend this call wall around 6,500. If they do that, then we'll be fine. We'll grab $160. There also is a profit trap on this thing. So if we get up into, this is coming into like Thursday, Friday, this trade right here, the 65.25 by 30, this potentially pays $500 on top of this trade, which pays $1.60. So I have the potential for $660 on that trade as long as price stays below 65.35 by next week. Right now, like I said, about a 23, 24 delta. The expected move is always around like a 30 delta on average. With today's kind of, crazy 200+% gain, I'm curious what next week gives us. I would think that Monday is going to be somewhat of a pause day or even a pullback day. So I think we just kind of stick to our rules and just let the markets be the markets. But NVIDIA earnings will be next week. Earnings next week, and we're still not at all-time highs. We have earnings on Wednesday after market. So I do have a screenshot here. Here are some of the earnings. Any impact names we want to take a look at. I don't see a ton. There's actually a lot of must be ADRs, like the American Depository Receipts, like what's this? HDL, OKTA, Kohl's for retail, Abercrombie and Fitch for retail, Williams Sonoma for retail. NVIDIA is there on Wednesday after close, along with Snowflake, along with CrowdStrike, along with Hewlett Packard. So, I mean, that's not nothing. Those are pretty important earnings to watch. I'd say those are going to be maybe some high flyers. We'll take a look at those next week. So highlight those. What else? Dollar General, Best Buy, Dell. Watching those. Ulta Beauty, Alibaba. Yeah, Baba on Friday. I know they usually don't do it on Friday, but Alibaba on Friday. So maybe, yeah. Well, there's a few. I'll price them out next week for my newsbreakers. But some notables, to say the least. Do I take a look at currencies? Yes, I will. We'll go to currency strength. I'm curious if anything really happened currency-wise. Did the dollar catch a bit or get weaker? Super weak on the dollar, and that is the correlation we've been seeing. The dollar's been getting slightly bid as the market sold off for 5 days. We had a huge rip on the markets today. Dollar's down hard. This is the first time in literally weeks that the currency strength chart's gone to a triple-digit number. So we're at 100 to the downside. What pairs made the biggest rip? We saw the Aussie, the yen, the euro, the Swiss, all against the dollar, making a big move. So rate cuts on the dollar. This is why I think gold is still a great play. Gold for the day, pretty decent bump, but still not anywhere near these recent highs at 34.50 and 3,500. I still think gold is still consolidating. If we go to silver, big rip on silver. I like silver a lot. I like silver better than gold. I've been saying that for months now. I'm measuring moves out to like $48, $49, $50 spot price, and I'm hoping that we can see silver continue to march on with a nice trend to the upside. Again, just a measured move, pull back into this 618, hopefully finishing up towards 41. If we can breach 41, maybe a pause pullback, but heading up towards all-time highs. We have 2011 and 1980 highs on silver at $50. Okay, Bitcoin had a nice little pop today to the upside. Ethereum had another big pop to the upside, right back up to the same highs again. These are all-time highs in Ethereum at 48.75. We're nearly there. Okay, MicroStrategy, nice little green candle on the day, right off the 200-day moving average. I did a ratio spread yesterday for my Project Options Edge. Looks pretty good, a 160 by 155 or 165 by 160 for over $5. So that's a pretty high probability $500 profit, I think. Anything else? Copper, still haven't looked at this one since the giant disruptive move on tariffs. Japanese yen. I'd like to see if the Japanese yen can come back down and see if this carry trade unwinds. We take a look at the Fed watch tool. This is what the big drama was today. Okay, we were down to a 69% probability of the Fed cutting. It was 94%. So let's just talk about this. Okay, a week ago, the Fed rate decision was about a 94% chance of cutting in September. This week, it was down to 69%. And then today, literally today, after Powell said a couple things about Jackson Hole and had a canned speech, I've got his full text right here. It jumped up to 85. So the market's clearly thinking, all right, Fed's going to cut. This is good, kind of reaffirming that, hey, look, Russell's going to have some help. Hopefully this helps borrowing costs, blah, blah, blah. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. But here's the real kicker. Are we seeing yields change? Okay, so today, 10-year yield is down. That's a good thing. Did the bonds catch a bid at all? Kind of. Not really, though. I mean, we're 87. So bond market just being stable is probably a good thing. I wish I liked trading bonds more than I did because I saw this crazy study from Tasty Trade or Tasty Live that 95% of all bond trading this year, if you trade ZB futures or you trade TLT, like long strangles or directionally neutral strategies, you have the expected move. Okay. The expected move was greater than the actual move this year 95% of the time. So if you are a premium seller, that is your bread and butter. You sell the call, you sell the put, you collect the income, whether you're doing that every day, every week, every month, every whatever, that's pretty impressive, right? And outside of this blow up trade we saw back in April, from that point forward, it's been just rock solid, directionally neutral bond trading. So I still I'm not that interested in undefined risk, so I don't take that trade. It's just been a pretty impressive run. Okay, Ag says using SLV to trade silver. Yes, I trade SLV, and if I get the dips that I want and the levels I'd like to trade, I sprinkle in SI for silver futures and GC for gold futures. But for the holdings I have, SLV is what I'm holding, and GLD is what I'm holding. So SLV is up around. So let's go SLV. SLV is currently up around $50,000. And PHYS is up around $4,000. GLD is up around $21,000. And CEF is up around $5,600. So that's my gold and silver exposure. I've got profit on all of them. Those are my ways to hold them. CEF is both gold and silver. PHYS is gold and silver. GLD is gold. SLV is silver. That's my exposure. I don't have any futures trades running right now because the reward to risk is just not good. So if I went to GC futures or gold futures, I mean, I wouldn't mind taking a trade on gold, but we'd have to. I look out to like maybe December ish, and maybe see if we can. I mean, I think we just have to hit this freaking 200 moving average. We could have a blow off move first before gold really corrects, but let me see if I can get a gold. It's probably going to be a terrible reward to risk, so. I'm not going to take the trade unless it looks good, but let me find out. So if we go gold futures, I go out to the end of the year. That strike would be around 3,100. So as long as we stayed above 3,100, I'm liking that. So if I go 31 by 30.95 by 30.90, I just want to see what type of credit I can get. So that gives me 40 cents credit. So I'm risking 460 to make 40. High probability, though, it's about an 88% chance of profit. This trade, risking 900 to make 100. That's probably about it. Like if I go further, I'm risking, still less than 1%. I get $140, but I'm not going to repair this trade. I do have a profit trap in here. Maybe I can go a little bit. Maybe I can go lower. It's trading like 10 delta. There should be about a 90% chance profit on this trade. So if I risk, like to me, the extra like $50 is not worth the extra $500 risk. So I'll tighten it up here. Risk less than $1,000. Try to get this trade. Maybe this thing will fill for $1. Let me see if this will fill for $1. Gold futures. Pending, not filling for $1. Let's try 90. It only goes 90 and $1. Well, that sucks. Similar trade. Looks like I have pending orders on this already. I've got a January 27th and December 23rd. Looks like they sprinkled in. Let's see here. What trade did I just try to take? I tried to take this one here. All right, I'm going to cancel this. So I already have a pending order for $1.50 on a similar trade out to January. So I'm that's how I'm trying to trade it. This trade, if I do the similarities, about a 90% chance of profit. I'm looking to make it $150, willing to risk $850, and potentially have a 10 wide profit trap for over $1,000. If price is going to come down and hit this 200 moving average, that potentially offers me a profit trap. So I still like buying the dips on gold. It's just I'm trying to put in a little profit trap down here. So if price goes up, I still make $150. If price goes sideways, I still make $150. If price goes down a little bit, I still make $150. If price falls and we bounce off this 200 moving average, there is a profit trap there for $1,000 in addition to the $150. Okay. All right. Lee says it won't be much of a cut from what he's saying. A hawkish cut, maybe. I mean, I agree. I just think that, the market's essentially running on the confirmation that, yes, the Fed's going to cut in September. Well, what do you think this melt up was? What do you think this melt up was? This melt up was the probability of profit or probability to cut was so high, high. They're going to cut. They're going to cut. And all of a sudden, it just like the drama changed the last couple of weeks. We went from like a 94% probability of cutting all the way down to 80 to 70 to 69%. And then today it jumped up to 85. So it's just kind of reassuring the market like, hey, the Fed's going to cut. There's still risk. They're talking about the softening labor market. They're talking about the tariff effects. So I think it's like it's a neutral to hawkish cut. The market hasn't really looked at like aggressively changing rate decisions, right? So, now it's showing a cut for September, and it still looks like you have a pause coming in October. So we have a cut, and then we have a pause, and then we have a cut, and then we have a cut into January, and then a cut into April or June. And then another cut at the end of the year. So 1, 2, 3. I look at this. You go out to the end of 2026, the markets are anticipating 5 cuts from the Fed. Okay, 5 cuts at around 0.25% each one. So that is a 1.25% total cut. Now, all that is going to matter with what the bond yields do. Okay, if these cuts don't translate, and this is what I think, this is where Donald Trump gets it all wrong by just trying to be so aggressive on basically trolling Powell. The U.S. 10-year yield, if we go down in rates by 1.25%, the question is what is this thing doing? Is it going nowhere? Is it going down by 1.25? Is it going up by 1.25? If it does this, if it goes up, then it doesn't matter if the Fed's cutting rates, because all they're doing is cutting on the short end. That helps them with their debt, but it doesn't help anybody else. We could still send the economy into a bit of a slowdown with rates still being super high, with $40 trillion needed to be refinanced. It's not just our 40; it's like our 6 or 7 trillion, but it's the world's 40 trillion. There's a lot of freaking debt coming in the next couple of years that need to be restructured, refinanced, right? Because typically debt's not paid; it's refinanced. And we've just had this, low borrowing cost for so many years that, this is what this would be like that credit crunch. I do think that our next big event, our next big crisis, our next big bear market is going to be some type of credit crunch. I think it's going to be some type of, it could be like a bit of a debt bubble. It could be a debt restructuring problem. It could be a massive slowdown because of debt problems. So it's just not there yet. Like the credit spreads are still very tight. AAA, BBB, CCC. Market is trading still near all-time high valuations, like near .com valuations. But I think this is going to be an interesting shakeout. Okay, speaking of shakeout, my gosh, we might be looking pretty good here for maybe a miraculous 23 minutes of falling. Give back some of these losses. Let's see how we can manage some risk today. So my bear call combo is down 1,500. My bear call here is up 290. This one is set at 25. We're at 60. I will replace this. 25 is pretty good. I got into the trade for 325. I can take $300 out of it. That at least feels like a win. It's getting closer. Hopefully that will hold. So that could be a little bit of risk mitigation. Let me see if I can take this down to maybe 15 cents instead and get a little bit more profit out of this bad boy. And then this iron fly is toast. This thing's only down $40, which is fine. But let's see. If somehow, and I said this morning during my daily profit plan, the plus minus on the day was about 55 points. Okay. If market makers are good at their job, which I was hoping they were going to be today, even with the big rip to the upside, it would be awesome to see from this level going up about 55 points. I don't know if the market's going to fall all the way back to 64.25. That would be freaking amazing if it did. But even with the gap up, we had a futures gap of around 0.25%. So even if this is up 50 plus points, that puts us down to around 64.40. If we can get down to 64.40 today, market makers, you would be my absolute hero, because that would give me a nice little win of about $625 instead of being upside down about $1,200. So we'll see. I don't know if that's going to be the play, but maybe this just does nothing else other than this, right? It goes straight up here, falls, and then maybe comes back up for the final bit of trading in the last 20 minutes or so. But if we can give back some of this, if we can break this low and hold that low, that 50 level maybe starts mitigating some of my risk. It might be a day that I can survive on a blowout type day. Okay. Now, and I say blowout, like, look, I call the top in the market was 200% ATR. So I follow my VIX rule of 16, which this is like the first time I can remember in a long time that I was wrong in my calculation, especially when the VIX was at 16. I was looking at the market to possibly rip up like 105 today, like meaning like 1.05%, and it went up way more than that. So we were up as high as like 1.5, 1.6% on the day. Yeah, 1.7% from the previous day's close to the highs today. Let's see if we can take out this low. Okay, so this could be exciting. Let's see if we get prices back below this level here. Even if we get back to win this level, I might just end up taking a smaller loss and just wash. But up here around the 60 handle, as long as it stays below 64.70, I can keep that $300+ I'm just going to go ahead and remove this, take this thing down to 10, and try to take it for as much profit as I can without letting it go all the way to expiration, which is end of day. Okay, so I had a lot of pending orders. Not all of them were filled. This one was one I was watching for a while. I was trying to get this thing. It was trading up to like 171, 172. I just didn't want to take the extra $500 or $600 risk. But that would have been lovely to see, some profit rolling right now. But anyway, we might see something special happen. But if it holds right here, okay, if it holds right here, then we're probably jumping right back up to the ranges. But if we can give back a little bit, like I said, on those market maker levels, let me note this on my charts. Because here's the nice thing is, if you watch this stuff every single day, if you trade with me every single day, this is stuff that we get in the trenches and we figure out, okay? For us, all these points matter. For us, all these directions matter. For the average investor, all you see today is green, right? Hey, market's up today. That's all you see, right? So even with this market blowing out this move and then coming back in, as long as it's green, and for the week, where do we start the week? The week started right here. So it will be an interesting close for the week, because if we stay green for the week, that's right back around my break even on my first trades I took this morning. So I could see this. I mean, there's a low right here. I could see the market, bouncing off that low and maybe coming back up another 10 points. I hope that's not the case. But I'll sit here and watch, and we'll see how silly things get in the next 18 minutes. But like I said, market makers, if I could put you into some type of, I don't know, reincarnated form, I would kiss market makers on the lips if I can get this thing down to 64.40 today. So even this move with a plus minus 50, I mean, plus 50 points gets us to 64.34, 55 gets us to 64.40. I mean, they've got to do some work. I just don't think they're going to do it. I think the market blew it out, and we're probably just going to go range here. But if we can stay below 70, that would still help. If we can push down, I mean, I'd love to see another fresh low here. Let me set a chart alarm here. Come on, let's encourage this. Let's encourage this market to make some fresh lows. So let's put our like magic jazz fingers in to see if this thing will go down another, 15 to 20 points. It's hard to do the last 18 minutes, but I'd love to see this market limp into the finish line and get us at least a better net result. Okay, what else are we looking at today? Currency strength wise, we did a big move on the dollar. Let's take a look at some currencies. Aussie CAD, I'm still long. Aussie Swiss, I'm still long. Aussie Yen, no trade. Aussie New Zealand, we had a big pop to the upside. I'm still holding a couple positions long in Aussie New Zealand. I'm looking to take this back into like 111.50 and possibly up into the 113, 114. The RBNZ did cut rates this week. So New Zealand did cut by 25 basis points. So this is a slight positive carry right now. RBA is at 3.6. RBNZ is at 3%. So if that can help push this thing up to like 1150 or 1200, or even get to these recent highs back in 2022, I'm trying to hold this thing for a push up into 113, 114. So I'm still long in Aussie New Zealand. Aussie dollar, I've said this, if you had the courage to buy this thing, buying small and then scaling, the stop loss will be below the swing. I still think this has a good open space move to like 6,800 all the way up to like 6,900. Okay, we came right down and tested that low at 57. Stay below 70. Stay below 70 today. CAD Swiss still can't carve out a low yet. CAD yen, no trade. Swiss yen, watching the right-hand side of the trend line and looking for a topping pattern. Okay, this would be a potential swing trade. I would want to have a stop loss on this trade, but if this is how I can see this playing out price action wise: high to low, a little consolidation. We break the trend line, pull back. I'm looking to sell at the low and sell at the equal high and sell at the equal high. Small, 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 and try to go like maybe one ATR higher for my stop loss, and then see if this will actually hold the top and come back down into these levels. So small trades to level in, still have a stop loss plan, but big reward potential on Swiss yen if we can get it. Okay, I need some more confirmation, but it's hopefully lining up with some confirmation. All right, we're at 63 right now. We've got 15 more minutes. Looks like that 70 handle starting to fill up. Look, I mean, come on, man. There's a lot of crap going on these last like 10, 15, 20 minutes. Fall down, please. Euro Aussie, no trade. Euro CAD, no trade. Euro Swiss, still buying the lows at 9,200. Euro pound, nothing. Euro yen. Watching this one to maybe play out similar to the Swiss yen. It's not as clean of a setup. I think Swiss yen's a little bit better to sell this thing nice and high. Euro yen. Let me check on one thing really quickly. This trade is 275 profit. I've still got 7 points of wiggle room. I don't think we get to 70. I mean, based on this, it's another 3-point move in the final 15 minutes. See if this changes at all. Stay below 70, please. Like, I don't know. I'm just saying, don't come back and test the highs. Don't test the highs. But price action does suggest there's the end of the day. Just that, right? We make a nice charge at the end. We finish at the highs. And then next week, anything goes. It's all settling to next week. But if we can somehow breach these lows in just a couple of minutes and push lower, we might get lucky at the close. But that's some fast action dropping if we get a move back down to like 64.50 or lower. So we'll see. But I'm hopeful that I can at least get this thing to pay me $325 at the top. And if I'm going to get really lucky today, then market makers do their thing. People are taking profit, dump a position, 0 DT. I don't know, drive this thing lower. But it doesn't feel like that's the environment. This market doesn't give a crap about going down. Everything is just bought so hard. I mean, we blew through the expected move here on CPI. We blew through the expected move today, like way through the expected move. And we've just seen, some big chunks here and there on gaps and pushes. So, all right, 13 minutes to go. I'd like to see the bears kind of take over. Maybe this market can limp in. I'd like to see some fresh lows before we close, not back above 70. So I'm up about $260 on this trade here, 280. And all that is helping offset some of the original bear call combo, which is, it's sucky, it's annoying, but it's not a full whack. But hopefully 64.70 is firm. Oops. So that bear call. All right, I'm watching on my other screen. Hopefully this isn't a. I think Joy was with me. There was a last week on CPI. Was it last week or the week before? We had that like ridiculous Tuesday push where like the final 5 minutes the thing went up like 10, 15 points. I'm hoping that it's not doing that today. But the highs around 77. Well, I mean, we could make that run. Fingers crossed we don't. All right, what else? Euro yen. Euro yen, Swiss yen. Like I said, I like the Swiss yen better. I think there's two ways this plays out. Either one, we go here, break the trend line. I'm looking to sell the right side of this trend line. Or two, we make another move to the upside. We have divergence at the top. We roll over here, and I sell some type of topping pattern on the Swiss yen. So that could be an exciting trade. Hopefully in the next, I don't know, couple of weeks, maybe the next month or so. Euro Aussie, nothing. I was down to like Euro New Zealand, all the way back to highs again. Euro dollar, caught a bid. I'd still like to see if the dollar can not take out lows, which means Euro dollar holds the highs. I'm trying to buy Euro dollar lower. I want to buy this thing at like 13, 12, 11, and 10 and not chase this thing all the way up to highs again. Pound Aussie, no trade. Actually, I take that back. Pound Aussie, if you're somewhat interested, this could be a decent looking trade. If we get a pullback here towards like the 50% zone, maybe a 50% trade with a stop loss below this 200 moving average and see if it will breach this level. Stay with this uptrend, go up, get back to these highs. This one actually looks pretty good. So maybe a trade on Pound Aussie. Let me take a fib here. So I think I'm going to post this trade for Pulver Alerts, looking for a swing around like 207, anywhere between 207 and 206.50, looking to get in here with a stop loss below the swing low. Or better yet, I like to kind of trade this away, or if I got a 50618 entry and I bought at the lows again, I give myself like an ATR-based stop right here. So if this pulls back and goes up, easy profit. If it pulls back and retests a low for a range, it just stays in the range and it goes all the way back to the range highs. So get trade one, trade two, don't get stopped out, and then it goes all the way up to range highs, which will be our profit target. That makes it a winner. That makes it a winner. Reward to risk is, definitely in our favor on both. Okay, so Pound Aussie is actually not a bad trade. I'm going to write that one down for next week. I'll look at that for Pulver Alerts. All right, 66. We have 9 minutes left. It's going to be a long 9 minutes to see if I survive this 325 winner. There we go. That rejection looks pretty good so far. Okay. Fall to some fresh lows. Hopefully. Very annoying. What are the positive gamma levels filling up? Yeah, I mean, it's just the current order flows. It all comes in at the very, very end of the day. So you've got cash settling on all this stuff. So it's pretty wild and crazy, right? And what this tends to do is this will get up to like the biggest level, like towards the end. So right now it looks like, 70 seems to be like the more attractive level. If price is going to flow up to there, it's like we might pin at 70. If we can fill up a little bit lower, I'd love to see this like 64.60, right? I mean, see how this is filling up? Let's get some order flows filling up to the downside, get this thing to like 60 or 55. Let's breach some lows. Let's try to push down a little bit lower. Come on. There we go. So as long as if I see some pink lines down here, this just putting some pressure to kind of cap this move, I'd like to see this like 60 or 55 start to fill up a little bit and see if it can drag price down. The lucky trade for me would be if we somehow break these lows and get into like, I'm probably not going to take a full win on the day. It would be just washing away some of that risk. But TBD, we got 7 minutes. Okay, so I'll watch it. I've got it up on my other screen. And we'll see how, this is going to be another day that I take it into cash settling at the end. I'm happy that I've got another all-time high for the year. 440 was my high for the day. Up over 50 grand. That's good. My previous high was 427. So a nice little thrust to the upside, which is good. Clients are happy. I'm happy. Let's see if this will continue to fall a little bit. Come on, 64.50. Come on, 64.55. That's a lot to ask for in the final 7 minutes. I mean, anything can happen, but any bit helps to the downside. So at the very least, if I can just take a winner here, then it washes away some of my loss here. So this would be down about 825, and this would be up 325. So offset it. It's going to be like a $500 loss. Like, I can survive a $500 loss. I'm okay with that. But it's not stopping. All right. Just settle below 70. I mean, it's the risk is 6473.25, but I'd like to stay at least see it below 70. Can I get anything here at the bitter end? If I sell, and I buy. Nope, I gotta try to like perfectly pin this thing, which is tough. If I pin it there, I could do this trade, but that's a backwards reward to risk. I don't want to take that trade. If it was this trade, 10 wide, 10 wide, I'm still risking like $370 if I'm wrong, if we get like a big spike one way or the other. So just down to the final few minutes. Let's see where we're at. What a freaking day, man. All right. 5 minutes. No whammies at 64.70. A little lower would be great. Let's keep going on some currency pairs. Pound Aussie, I like this trade. I'm going to look at a buy trade in here. If I can buy it at the 50618 zone, I like that trade for a pullback. Look for a bounce back up to resistance. If we break that resistance and go higher, I'd measure the move back up to these highs. So trade 1 and then back to the lows would be trade 2. And then stop loss would be back below the 200. Okay, pound CAD. This one potentially range bound. If you are looking for short-term confirmation, watch and see if we have rejection up here. Don't let price invalidate. I mean, if it comes back down, there's a good looking trade to come back to range lows. I bought this thing at the 200. That worked out really nicely. Pound Swiss. Still bought the lows around 107. I'm riding this thing up to 112. Pound yen, nothing. Nothing on that one. Pound New Zealand, watching some resistance. I just said be careful on the Pound New Zealand this week because it is volatile. We had the rate cut this week. I wasn't surprised that we used this break, retest, and go. You see my box here for the range. We broke it, retested, and then ripped on that rate decision, and it's coming right back up to resistance. So if you're trading Pound New Zealand, that was actually a pretty good run for a couple hundred pips. Pound dollar. Pound dollar, I'd like to see if we can come back to like 132, 131, 130. I don't know if we're going to. This might be setting up for a, this could potentially be a bullish pattern, but I don't want to take that. I'm not taking the bait there. I'm not going to buy that. I'm going to wait till like 132 or 130. So I'd like to buy it down here or down here and get this level and see if we can go back up to range highs around 138. New Zealand CAD. I'm still holding long in this one, looking for a swing to the upside. New Zealand Swiss, back down to these freaking 25 lows. A little inefficiency, but my God, man. This thing's been in a bear market for I don't even know how many years. Like literally for 4 or 5 years. Since this has been in a decade-long bear market. That's big swings, but from this high all the way down, we have just seen like equal low. I thought it would matter. It didn't matter once we broke in 2023. Ethereum crossing all-time highs right now. Just had a chart line go off there. 62. All right, 62. Can you surprise this down to 55? Can you give me any less risk on that $825 risk that I've got going today? 2 minutes left. At least my 325 is looking pretty good. So that'll be a cash winner at 325. I'm still taking on $8.75 of risk here. So it's at least a wash of some risk. I'm still losing on the day, but I'm still positive on the week. So we will survive. And honestly, like, how do we lose? A blowout move. I mean, and that's the crap that happens sometimes when you're trading zero DTE. Like, markets do crazy things. All right, we got 1 minute left. Looks like my 70 is safe. It would have been a nice one to load up on. I just didn't. Stop. We have 46 seconds. Do not invalidate 70, please. And then next week we have NVIDIA earnings on Wednesday after market. All right, we got 30 seconds. Please don't be an a-hole, market. Don't be an a-hole. 15 seconds. All right. I just got closing bell on Tasty. 5 seconds left, 4 seconds left, 3 seconds left, 2, 1, 65 settle, 66 settle. Okay, we're at 64.66. That looks like my 64.70 is safe. Cash settle here is 66.90. So, all right, on the day, so I've got an 8.25 loser. So minus 8.25 and plus 3.25. So that is down 500 on the day. That's okay. We'll survive. Still up for the day, still up for the year, still up for the year. New highs in the portfolio for the year. And that's why I trade small day trading, because it's not going to be perfect all the time. And, some days like this where the market does silly things, I get caught on again, thinking that the numbers and the math was going to work out pretty well. I mean, when I saw, okay, we tested all-time highs at 80. It worked. Like, you're testing all-time highs. Did it break the all-time highs? No. But I was sitting here all day with like a 75 by 80, 75 by 85 bear call spread, and I couldn't get a fill for more than like $5. So I tried to get a bigger fill. Like, this was $3.25 credit out of a $5 risk, and I had to take this trade in the afternoon. If I had 2 contracts, that would have been great, but I also didn't want to take on the extra risk. So that would have been $6.50. That would have helped wash a little bit of the day. So all in all, whatever. We'll come back and trade again tomorrow. But again, my wrap up is new all-time highs, more profit on the day, big surge up. It doesn't change anything. Honestly, we'll get through the rest of these currency pairs. New Zealand yen, nothing. New Zealand dollar. I still like Aussie dollar better. I said that in a video outlook this week. Dollar CAD. I mean, if you're interested in buying dollar CAD, I get it, but I'm looking at like scaling in levels, not really like short term. This is like if I'm going to buy this thing, you buy it here, you're considering buying it here, and you're considering buying it here, and you're trying to go after these highs. That's your profit target. So if you want to get into the nitty gritty and all the little tiny nooks and crannies of this currency pair, that's fine. But I'd rather just buy small, buy small, buy small, and take a big support level to a big resistance level, and that's a big fat profit, right? And so and this is what I was hoping for. We're on the right-hand side of the trend line. I'd love to see price pull back down here and kind of sweep these lows and then give us a pattern that starts to go back up. So that type of trade I can wrap my head around. I can start adding more winning trades on this side. But I have to look for that confirmation. Dollar Swiss, we're on the right-hand side of the trend line. If we go maybe here, a little bit lower, maybe test the lows, get another swing back up. I'm just going to look at a 3 and a 5 wave move. That pocket, this area, it's all about the Swiss, man. Like, Swiss has been stubbornly strong for years now, and I don't know if there's any type of crazy manipulation or if it's like a risk-off flow that the dollar yen or the yen pairs give us. Still, the dollar yen is still very, very much range bound. Still not breaking. Just a big range. So don't force a trade. I think yen pairs are good-looking setups, but they're not ready yet. Dollar yen, Swiss yen is what I'm watching the closest. Okay. All right. Anything else for the day? We did currency pairs. Where does this take us for the S&P next week? I mean, honestly, in my opinion, nothing changes. We've got some waterfall trades running for next week. We've got NVIDIA earnings on Wednesday. The market's all excited that it's sitting here at these highs. I don't know if the market's going to run higher come Monday. I think the market's going to do a lot of nothing and wait until NVIDIA earnings on Wednesday. So if you come into trading with me next week on the daily profit plan, we probably have a good looking trade for Monday. So, I mean, with Powell out of the way, with Jackson Hole out of the way, coming into Monday to finish up the month, NVIDIA is kind of like the next big thing. Plus, you have PCE on Friday. So you have like the Fed's kind of primary inflation gauge plus NVIDIA on Wednesday. I think Monday and Tuesday could also be like pretty good days if the market doesn't do anything stupid. So I'm hoping we can capture that, and we'll share it on Friday or on Monday. So come back and join me. Macro Monday Daily Profit Plan. I'll be live at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. You can check all that stuff out here on my website, chrispulvertrading.com. All are welcome to join me. You can just sign up, subscribe. I'm on Telegram. You can click on the Daily Profit Room. You can join me right here at 9 a.m. I do stream this as well. This is a Zoom session. If you want to stay for the entire session, be in Zoom with me. If you want to stay for the first segment, I put it on YouTube, youtube.com/financial wars. And then every single day, Monday through Friday at 9 a.m., I'm running the Daily Profit Room. Okay. If you'd like to join my Telegram, I'll share the link right here. So Chris Pulver, Telegram, and Chris Pulver Trading.com. Actually, I'll just if you click on the link here in my website, go to the Daily Profit Room, click on that to sign up. Join me on Daily Profit Room. There's the website there. And if you'd like to join my Discord, free Discord channel, I'm just going to post a 30-minute link for invites. So let's edit that down to 30 minutes. And here is my Discord. Okay, so there's Discord, there's Telegram, there's my Daily Profit Room every single day at 9 a.m. If you come to my Discord, just please look at the rules. Right? I don't send friend requests. I don't initiate any private messages. You can contact me anytime in the free group chat or any of the other channels. My Telegram or my Discord is pretty clean and simple. Come into the free group chat. You can say hi. Okay, that's me. So if you want to message me, this is my profile. All the scammers, all the private messages, all the crap that happens in the behind the scenes with Discord, this isn't me. Like, I'm in the public chat. You want to talk about anything, post it here. You want to talk Forex, you want to talk stocks, you want to talk options, you want to talk futures. Anytime I'm live on YouTube like we are here, all these links get posted. Okay, I just posted a little analysis summary today on Jackson Hole. Workshops, anywhere up to 10 traders at a time. I just ask my time gets paid for. So I work with a lot of one-on-ones. If you'd like to join me for a workshop with a group of 4, group of 8, group of 10, I do that quite a bit. And any like discount software tech that I use on my own trading, I've got some pretty good relationships, saving anybody anywhere between like 30, 50, 70% on some of these stuff that I use tool wise. And then some courses and education is all in here. Okay. So list of services, links to those services. You have any questions, hit me up, and have a good weekend. Okay. All right. Nothing's wrong with it, Pete. What's wrong with it? What's wrong with the tracker? I just have a bunch of open positions, dude. I've got 9 open trades. So what's wrong with the tracker? We just have open trades. So, I mean, if I look at it from, we have a trade from June that's still open. I have a trade from July that's still open. I've got trades from this week that are still open. So that gives me, I think, 9 open positions right now. So I'm just continuing to stack up some of those waterfalls. Okay. All right. Thanks, everybody. Have a good Friday. Have a good weekend. Come back and join me on Monday. We'll be back at it again. Daily Profit Plan, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern Time. Next week, Macro Monday, Technical Tuesday, Watch List Wednesday, Training Thursday, Fast Money Friday. Next week should be a highlight from my pinch point scanner. I will be running this on Watchlist Wednesday, as well as running a 3-day masterclass on pinch point. Pretty sure that's what I'm talking through next week. So if you'd like to, trade a bunch with me next week, that's what I'm going to be doing that pretty much like all week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So anyway, just join the sessions. I'll share that information, and we'll talk more next week. If you have any questions, there you go, chrispulvertrading.com. If you ever want to email our team at Prosperity Pub, support@prosperitypub.com. If you're a member of my service, you can email me here, chrispulverpub@gmail.com. Cool? All right, have a good Friday, everybody. Does not show any trades. Pete, send me a picture, man. I don't know what you're talking about. Like, I'm literally looking at the spreadsheet that I filled out yesterday during session. I've got 104 trades listed. So if you send me a picture in the screen, send me a screenshot from what you're seeing in your classroom and your tracker. Are you like dragging, the scroll bars over to make sure you can see everything? Because it should just be a copy, like a visual copy of my spreadsheet. So send me an email, chrispulverpub@gmail.com. Okay. All right. Have a good weekend, everybody.